One of the things you would want to ask yourself is, do you love him enough to forgive him? And when I'm talking about forgiving him, I'm not talking about forgiving the incident. You will need to forgive the incident, whether you love him for it or not. And you are not forgiving the incident for his sake. You are forgiving the incident for your own sake. Hello, everyone. You are welcome to this edition of the Iaam show. And just like I always say it, Iaam is about everything regarding marriage. It is all encompassing, from eligible singlehood stage, dating, courting, wedding, marriage, marital experiences, parenting, even sometimes to divorce, widowhood. Every of these topics will be touched at one time or the other. And I'm glad to have in the house a unique person today as we talk about music and the relevance of music to our special events, lifetime events like marriage. You are welcome to this occasion, sir.
Thank you for the privilege, man.
Please, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Olakunle, but I'm fondly known as Q-Bounce professionally.
Wow. So what do you do?
Well, I run a media company. I'm a media enthusiast, and I believe one of my passions in my generation is to make people understand the power of media and entertainment and how we can shape lives.
And you do it through music?
Through music, videos, medias.
Wow. So, from your own perspective, how important is music to life and to our special occasions?
Music is very vital. I consider music like the soundtrack to life. So for instance, in media, in video, they teach you that if you have a video without sound, it's almost crap. So sound brings out the beauty. And music is basically organized sound. So music is like a very vital part. We can't do without music, both here and where we are going.
So he said music is like the soundtrack to life. Wow. So attending wedding ceremonies, I often see that music is a large part of the wedding ceremony. And more often in this generation, I see that live bands are brought in for the reception. And so many people believe that bringing live bands to wedding is like trying to pull class or pull rank, or to say that you are above average in the social cadre. What is your take on that?
If we're going to be honest about it, bringing a live band to your event is not really about class. It's really about preference. Okay. It's really about preference, because as in contrast to DJs, because in weddings it's either you have a live band or you have a DJ. Okay. The benefit of having a live band most times is interaction.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's your favorite wedding singer, that's why it's called live band. So you can have a band, we can have Ebenezer Obey playing over the speakers, but it can't be the same as Ebenezer Obey live interaction. He can stop, he can call names, so it's basically preference.
So when you were trying to talk about why people opt for live bands, you said the alternative to it is DJ. Yes, so what is the difference between using the DJ and using a live band?
Okay, so kind of linked to what I said earlier, having a DJ is very dynamic, because with a DJ you can spin tracks from the 80s, 50s, current day tracks. It's unlimited. But the downside to having a DJ is interaction. Meanwhile, when you have a live band, the live band, they bring energy, unmatched energy, unlimited energy. So it basically depends on what you want at your wedding. So
what he's trying to say is that you cannot eat your cake and have it. If you use a DJ, you can cut across different generations of music. You can move from one style of music to the other. However, the interaction, the live or human interaction that exists when a live band is on the stage will be missing.
Absolutely.
So you can decide which one works for you. So if a couple that are getting wedded decide that they are bringing in a live band for their wedding, would you advise that the couple provide the instrument the live band will use, or you would rather suggest that the band themselves bring in the instruments they need?
First, so I don't waste your time, the first thing I'll tell you is don't try it.
Don't try which one?
Don't try to help the band bring their sound.
Oh,
so
okay.
let me now relate it. It's like I enlist someone to bake my wedding cake. Will I be the one to go and buy the flour or the no? So just leave them. They know what they want. They know.
Okay.
Because if on the flip side you try to have your way and you go and bring it, then there are technical difficulties or mishaps. You have yourself to blame. So just leave them to do
I
their
think
work.
I used to hear people consider that maybe they producing the instrument will cut costs, that the instrument they used in the church ceremony
Yeah.
or whatever, we just
Yeah.
move it over. But now I understand why.
It's really dangerous. So for instance, like my wedding, for instance, I provided the sound for the band, but hey, it's my work, it's what I do.
Okay.
And I also have I have a good working relationship with the band, so I know they are what we call it riders. So I understand their rider. But I would, especially if you have no knowledge in music, please, it's not worth that money you are trying to save. It's not worth it in the long run.
So I've also been privy to instances where there is a flop in the wedding event because the live band refused to show up after being paid the down payment. Some show up hours after they are being expected. Oh, maybe we decided that, the reception starts for 12, be there for 12. Sometimes they will still be calling the band at 2 o'clock. Where are you? How can a couple prevent the incident of disappointment from live bands for their big day?
Well, it basically boils down to contracts. I would advise, if you want to invite a band to your wedding, first you have to have a written contract with them.
Have a written
contract. It's standard rules of engagement. Then also, don't pay them full. Pay them down payment. But like you said,
part of them, we should not pay you full until you deliver.
No, so the thing about it is, we are all human beings. And once you give me all the benefits for my service before offering the service,
motivation.
The only thing that can make me deliver is my integrity. And you can't trust everybody to have integrity. So it's better you pay them down payment. But like you mentioned, some you even pay them down payment and they refuse to show up. So what I would advise for situations like that is, in your contract, properly state it out. That, for instance, I need the band to be set up 6 p.m. the day before. Or maybe by 7 a.m. Because if your band is not available by 2 p.m., trust me, there's no band that day. Because the standard time to set up a band is between 3 to 4 hours.
Before the event?
For the band to be ready without errors, sound checks and all. So if by 2 p.m.
That is before the event?
That's before the event. So imagine.
So if the person doesn't show up within that range before the event, you can as well be looking for alternatives.
Which also brings me to the alternative. Always have a DJ. It's good.
As a backup.
As a backup. So you have the DJ, you have the live band.
That's a serious one. It has never crossed my mind. Despite the fact that you've paid a live band to come perform for your big day, it is a smart move to have a DJ as an emergency backup, just in case. Because he rightly said something, that if you've already paid someone before the person comes to get the job done, it will now largely depend on the integrity of the person to deliver. And you cannot guarantee that everyone has integrity. So that your day will not be messed up for you by the sloppiness of another person, have a backup DJ hanging somewhere. So when it comes to the kind of musician that you want to bring, what should influence the musician with regards to your wedding?
When it comes, like we mentioned earlier, music is the soundtrack to life. And just like, imagine Fuji music being played when the Titanic was sinking in the movie. You know how awkward that would be. So music is basically about taste and preference. So if you're going to bring a
music is about taste and preference.
And I must also add identity too. Identity. So if you're in the UK and you attend a Nigerian wedding, you automatically, it's like you are back in Lagos because of the sounds you hear.
Okay.
If you attend an Indian wedding, it's about the sounds you hear. So if you are going to get a band for your wedding, I'd say first of all, consider your taste. You are the couple, I believe it's your special day. So you should always put your taste ahead. But also too, because you're inviting guests, consider the taste of the guests. Consider
the caliber of the
guest.
people you are bringing in.
If your pastor is going to be at your wedding, you know.
not like the people that are singing in a coronation.
Yeah. So it basically depends on the kind of people you are bringing, and also the kind of, because they say show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. By just the live band at your wedding, I can tell who you are as a couple. So these are things you must not take for granted.
So it's simply saying that the kind of music provided on your big day says a lot about you. So it should not something that you should just carelessly decide on. You should be intentional about who comes to grace your day. I've also seen instances where maybe the bride wants to spin a surprise on the groom, or the groom wants to spin a surprise on his bride by bringing in maybe a particular musician they love. And I've seen many brides or groom get very excited when they see the person. However, I've noticed that many of those occasions, the musician comes in alone. You just see one person coming in with the microphone. Why is it always like that? Is it not possible for them to come in with the band? Because I often think that, what if it's a song that requires a backup? What if it's a song that it has a chorus or something? Why is it always like that, that when they spin surprise on the bride or the groom, by bringing their specially preferred musician, it's only that musician that comes?
Well, I'll put two things as main.
Okay.
First, you want to consider cost. So if you are going to, I shouldn't call figures, but if you want to invite maybe somebody like Shegun Johnson now to your wedding, you are not going to be spending 5 million. You are going to be spending way above that, because it's going to come with his whole entourage, his stage managers, his band, everybody. But if it's maybe based on relationship, you invite only him, you cut the cost because he's the only one coming. But also, because for some weddings, especially weddings, I mean, for you to even be thinking of inviting your special celebrity, I want to believe money is not your problem. So what I also feel might be the issue is the element of surprise. Okay. So if, for instance, you want to invite this popular person to your band, by the time he comes with his crew, everybody knows that something's happening.
Something is happening.
But if he comes alone, he can just...
They can achieve the surprise.
And the beauty is, it's popular already, so the band knows the song. So your band can help them sing along.
So I understand what you are saying. If you bring in a popular musician, the whole witnesses to the wedding ceremony can be the backup.
Exactly.
Because the song will be popular for them.
Yes,
the song will be popular enough for them to be able to sing along.
Yes,
okay. Okay. I get that. So I also understand that in some cases within the marriage now, some people, when they want to pass messages across to their partner, rather than coming clear that, okay, I want this, I want that, or I'm not satisfied with this particular behavior or lifestyle or that, they would now be indirectly using music to pass their message across. For instance, maybe the wife wants to tell the husband that I don't like what you are doing and things like that. You can be hearing something like, whatever you sow, you go reap, something like that. Or maybe it's songs that has to do with husband telling, I think I heard the song that was saying, so indirectly saying, man, you need to buckle up. Tell me you need me to take care of you. But now somebody is singing it. How effective can music be to passing across messages you want your spouse to understand, your heartfelt desires? How is music to passing across such messages to your spouse?
Well, thank you so much for this question, Ma, because I believe as human beings, the day we wake up and realize the power of music is the day we would solve, I can almost say almost 60% of our problems, because music is very potent. Like, so take for instance, another thing I compare with music is perfume, scents, both good and bad smells. You know you smell a perfume and it can take you back 10 years ago, and you remember. This music has the same power. You listen to a particular track and it can take you back in time. So what I would say is music has, that's why you see in nursery schools, they would rather teach them more through music, because they learn. So music is the most effective way of passing communication. But what I would advise the couple is, it can also seem rude trying to use music to pass, especially if it's maybe like you said, maybe there's a fight or you're trying to, it might always seem rude, because it's as if you're not coming direct, you're not having to let me decipher. So I believe in marriage, you should be able to come directly to the person to let them know. But above all, too, aside this, I will also advise that in marriages too, aside from speaking to yourself with music, also be careful about the music you let in your space, because this music is spirit, is enchantment.
You are like the second or third musician that we hear saying that music is spirit, that music has a spirit and it can change the environment or change the atmosphere.
So, like I said earlier, I said I was intentional when I said music is both vital in this realm, and when we are going to be with the Lord, we will meet music there. I don't know what we'll meet there, but I can assure you we'll meet music there. So music is very powerful. So if, for instance, there's no fight in your home, I noticed this in my own house. So everything is going well, but you let a certain type of music play, and maybe in the music is speaking about violence between a couple or heartbreak. You let that music simmer in your space for so long, you will just notice things start acting out. So in marriage, you want to be careful, and not just in marriage, generally in life, you want to listen to the lyric of that song. But when it comes to communication, please be bold. Don't hide behind the music. Tell me straight up what you want.
So our dear audience, he said something very strategic. Number one, music is beautiful. Music can bring you down the memory lane. And music can be like a sermon to you. If you are listening to good music, it can tell you what to do. It can tell you how to handle issues. And he said, in a good environment where there is bliss and peace in the home, good music is fine. You learn, you play, you dance, and things like that. But when there are disagreements in the marriage, he said it might be rude or disrespectful for you to use music to pass that message across. Because what you are doing is that you are leaving the person to decipher what is going on at the moment. Rather, opt for good communication. I had to put good to it because there are bad communication methods too that will not resolve the matter, but rather escalate things. Go for good communication. Lay bare the cards. What you felt the person didn't settle down well with you, what you want them to do in the future. And if they are telling you, this is why this happened, listen to understand them. Don't listen to just reply, because we are trying to make sure peace reign, not just to make one seemingly look like the winner in the argument and the other look like the loser. And lastly, he said music can influence your environment, that your environment doesn't need to be in a particular way. But if you play a particular kind of music consistently over a protracted period of time, that kind of music can create that kind of environment in your marriage or in your home. So you want to be intentional about the kind of music, and don't only be carried away with the beat. He said you should pay attention to the lyrics.
Yes.
Because while dancing to a good beat, you might have imbibed into your subconscious so many negative things, and you will not be conscious, or you will not be aware of it until it starts playing out. So please, music is beautiful, but you should be intentional about it, because as constructive as music can be, it can equally be destructive. Thank you very much for that. So when it comes to the union of a couple where one loves music, one resonates well with music, but the other person doesn't have ear for music, In fact, the person has two left foot. They don't know how to dance. They don't understand beats. They don't know how to. How can you still enjoy music with somebody like that? Or does that mean they are incompatible? They might not work well as a couple?
Well, I've always had it been said over time that marriage is, if two similar people are in marriage, it might not be the best. The beauty of marriage is in having people complementing each other. So, and like I always tell my wife too, it's about meeting ourselves halfway. It's never about meeting me all the way. So if you have a couple, for instance, that is not really into music, and you have another couple that is into music, you want to be able to have this common knowledge. So try to meet the person halfway. And if it's about dancing, try to meet the person. It's learning. And if you are being honest with ourselves, there's nobody that doesn't like music. It's just some people are not crazy about music, some people are not overly, but you will always find that there's that particular type of music that gets to them. So try that. Don't start giving them the hard ones. Give them what they are used to. But it will create talking points. So if you are the couple that doesn't like music, try to find a way. Even if you have to start pretending at first, then initially. And if you're also the couple that loves music, don't overboard them with your knowledge of music. Try to break it down and make sure you meet halfway.
That's deep. So you would always have points where you don't share similar interests. However, rather than showing total disinterest or showing extreme favoritism for what you like at the expense of the other person, you can always meet yourselves halfway. And that cuts across every issue of life, including music. You might not like all kinds of music, but you can start from somewhere. The one that you find at least a bit tolerable until you are able to adjust. Before I release you, I think I have one or two more questions to ask. If a couple is on a low budget for their wedding event, and they are still desiring to bring a band, a live band, what would be your advice to?
If you're on a low budget, and it is, first of all, in wedding, I've learned nothing is a must. If the desire is truly from the couple because of they appreciate what live music brings, it's a different case. But if it's about societal pressure, I would beg you, please don't do that. You can bring a DJ. I've even seen weddings that they don't bring DJ, they just play tape.
Wow.
They just play the music. It's the truth. And people have a great time because that's the beauty of music. When the beat comes on, people forget themselves and just go into it. But if it's because you truly love the experience the live band brings and you want it, trust me, we have what we call big bands and we have what we call small bands.
Okay.
So you can have somebody with just a keyboard at your wedding. And if it's an excellent person at it, it will give you the experience of a live band with the loops and the sounds at a very short budget. It doesn't have to be a very big band.
So it's saying that if you are a fan of live band and you're on a low budget, you can still get something at your level. It doesn't have to be the big band. And if it is not because you are a fan of live band, you are trying to just meet up to societal expectation, he said it's not wise to place yourself under that kind of pressure. Lastly, when it comes to instruments in relation to music, does being able to play an instrument culminate into the musician being a good musician?
Does being able to play an instrument?
If the musician cannot play an instrument, he's not a good musician. Okay. Is it always true?
Okay, well, the honest truth about it is, first, the voice is an instrument.
Wow.
So for
the voice of the musician
is an instrument. I mean, this is not hard to say. When you see a professional musician singing, even you know you won't try that, but we both have the same voice. So it's an instrument. So first off, the voice is an instrument. It's always advisable to know how to play an instrument just to accompany your performance, but it's totally not a criteria.
No. Lastly, before I allow you to go for today, when it comes to children, maybe you want children to, because you said it rightly, that one of the easier ways to make children learn is
Through
to
music.
introduce music and things like that. So around what time do you think one can introduce children to music? And because sometimes based on the lyrics, some music might be a bit above their age. Around what age should a child be introduced to music, and what kind of music can one start with?
So we're talking about introduced to listening to music, not learning music.
Not learning.
Well, to burst your bubble, the child has been introduced to music right from the womb.
Wow.
Like in the womb, that music you are playing, the child is hearing it.
Wow.
And it's already shaping, it's already forming their perceptions, their realities. So I'd advise from the minute you get pregnant, you want to be careful about the kind of
The
music.
kind of music.
But also, I have to mention this. There was a day I was driving out of my house, and I saw this young girl. There's this popular song. I can't sing the song, but it's something about Dogoyaro, something. Very lewd lyrics. And I saw this girl. She was probably not 4 at most. And she was singing this song word for word. And it hurts me deeply because I'm like, this girl doesn't know what she's singing. And music is enchantment. She's speaking into her future. So when she grows up and she becomes an uncontrollable runs girl, she doesn't know that it's from this music. So as parents, just like you won't feed your child poison in terms of food, just like you won't take them to a bad school, please don't expose them. Even as I am, there are types of songs that I like that I will never play around my children. They might not understand the words, but the spirit is jumping on them, and when it's time, it will start manifesting.
You know, I used to believe that it's the Rastafarians only that believe that there is a spirit in what they say, what they sing, because they used to say that there is a jazz spirit here and there. So every music has its kind of spirit, and you want to be an intentional parent. Just like he rightly said, there are some music that you will prefer, but because of the content of the music, vis-a-vis the maturity level of your child, you cannot play when they are around you. You might need to deny yourself that in order to raise a qualitative child. Don't expose your child to music, bad lyrics that has corrupting lyrics. Don't just say, no, they don't understand, they are children. Music has spirits backing it, and those spirits can affect them. Also, they will not always be children. They've sang it, and they know that it's mommy and daddy playing it. Later, when they grow in the future, they will not see a big deal in it, because they will believe that for daddy and mommy to be playing it at home, there's no big deal in it. So when they are living it out, it will now become a challenge for you. And for pregnant women, just like he rightly said, your child in the womb, your fetus can relate to music. So you want to be intentional about the kind of music you expose them to. Generally, where music is concerned, what advice do you have for the populace?
Well, my strong advice, something I've been conversing for over the years, is don't be a slave to the melody. Don't be a slave. So there's something I call melody slaves, and we all can fall into that trap. You hear this music and it's so good, the rhythm is so good, you love it, it's bringing out, but what they are saying, what are they saying? You need to find out what they are saying. In fact, there are times when I hear foreign music, and this music, I'm getting to like this music so much, I'm like, pause. Let me go and find the translation. There was a song I love so much. It's South African music. We're not speaking English, but I love this song so much. And I paused. I said, let me even hear what they are saying. Apparently, it was a funeral song.
Wow.
In dance hall. I mean, it was topping dance hall charts in Nigeria back then. But it was a funeral song. So why will I go and be singing funeral songs?
In my home.
So you don't want to be a slave to the melody. Find out what they are saying, because confessions matter.
Wow. Wow. What he calls confession, some people out there call affirmation. Whether you call it affirmation or confession, whatever you say regularly will ultimately become your reality. So our audience will advise you, don't be a slave to melody. Be intentional about what is being said in the content of the song before you make yourself an addict or a fan of that particular music. I want to believe that you've learned a lot from this particular episode. Until I come your way with another I Am session, I want to appreciate you for
Thank you, ma'am.
coming.
Thank you for
And I
coming,
want to
ma'am.
thank you, my audience. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I welcome you to this edition of Ask Dr. Shion. And the question sent in today said, Dear Dr. Shion, my name is Amara, and I'm writing to you because I don't know where else to turn. 3 years ago, I married a man I believed was honest, open, trustworthy. He was my friend before he became my husband, and I truly thought I knew everything about him. I thought we were building our life on a foundation of truth. But last week, the foundation shattered. His mother arrived at our home unexpectedly with several family members and a little girl. I didn't understand why they were all there until the mother began to cry. She explained that the child was my husband's daughter, a child he had before our wedding, a child he never mentioned, not once, not even by accident. They all came to beg me to forgive, to embrace the child and allow her come home. They said it was fear that made him hide it, that he didn't want to lose me. Since then, my world has not felt real. I'm 8 months pregnant with our first child, but instead of joy, I feel a deep, heavy betrayal. I feel like someone switched my life with another woman's while I was sleeping. How could he hide something like this? What else has he not told me? And what kind of marriage am I in if it is built on secrets this large? His family has been calling every day, persuading me to allow peace to reign. My husband keeps saying he's sorry, that he was afraid that it won't happen again. But what does won't happen again even mean in this situation? Please, Dr. Shion, what should I do? I empathize with your situation. As a professional, I know what it feels like to have your trust shattered. However, the ball is in your court. I would give you things to consider to make your decision by, but after all is said and done, the decision is still your decision. One of the things you would want to ask yourself is, do you love him enough to forgive him? And when I'm talking about forgiving him, I'm not talking about forgiving the incident. You will need to forgive the incident, whether you love him for it or not. And you are not forgiving the incident for his sake. You are forgiving the incident for your own sake. If you choose to hold on to the pain and the bitterness, it will eventually affect your health. It is everywhere online. Check the reputable health magazines and experiments carried out. You will discover that many psychosomatic sicknesses is attached to bitterness and unforgiveness. You wouldn't want to do that to yourself. So you would have to forgive him of what he did. However, when I was saying that you would decide whether you want to forgive him or not, I'm talking about the reconciliation part of it. Do you love him enough to want to give him a second chance? In this situation, the child is not the offender. Your husband and his family are the offenders. He might genuinely be afraid of losing you truly. And it might be that fear that truly kept the truth away from you. That is not to excuse what he did. What he did was wrong and unacceptable. I'm just saying that the reason for engaging in that wrong deed might be genuinely his fear of losing you. However, some people would outrightly do it and lie that it is fear. So it is your knowledge of him that you will now use to decide whether you want to categorize it genuinely under the fear of losing you or outrightly misbehaving and thinking that it can take you for a ride. If every other thing has been consistent except this, And if you think you love him enough to want him to be forgiven and reconciliation happen, then you can give it a try. The only thing is that you put structures in place to ensure that it doesn't happen again. What do I mean? Number one, you want to sit him down to let him know that although you will be forgiving him this, is there any other thing he needs to tell you? That any other surprise in the future, this and this and this will be the consequences. Let him know up front. So that if there is any other thing left, he would open up and tell you. And if possible, let there be a witness to it so that no group of people will come again to beg you in the future. That, okay, I'm letting this go, but this will be the first and the last time something of this magnitude would happen. Is there any other thing I need to know now? If there is, tell me now, let me make my decision. If I get to know later, this and this and this will be what will happen. Then the second thing you will need to answer is, do you want the child to live with you? Even if you are willing to reconcile with your husband, do you want the child to live with you? And I'm asking this not out of your hatred for the child. Some people cannot stand raising another person's child. And rather than maltreating an innocent child that knows nothing about the complication on ground, if you know that you will not be able to live under the same roof with the child, I would suggest that you let them know up front that, oh, although I'm reconciling with my husband, I won't be able to live under the same roof with the over an extended period of time, so that you can plan alternatives. Alternatives might be that she continues living with the grandma or whoever she's living with, then she comes on holidays. Or she's put in a boarding house where she's visited during the visiting days, and during the holidays, rather than come to your house, she goes to her grandma's place. Then I will also want to ask, where is the mom? Because that can now also constitute an issue in the future. Where is the mom? That might be one of the things that will determine how your response to this matter will be when you are considering reconciliation. Is the man still in touch with the child's mom? If yes, to what extent? Where do they meet? And what is the basis of their connection? How does she interact with the child? If she was interacting with the child before by going to visit her at the grandma's place, now that they are thinking the child should come to you, if she comes to you, how will she be connecting with the child and it will not tell on your family? You want to know all that to decide what you want to do if you are going to be reconciling with your husband. That means the child might be in the hostel during the holidays. She can divide the holiday into two, go and visit her mom, then go and visit her grandma, while you and your husband will be checking her up in school during visiting days for boarders. And if she cannot go and stay with her mom during the holidays, then during the holidays she should go and stay with the grandma, and her mom should go and check her at the grandma's place, rather than coming to check her within the confines of your own marriage. Then you might also want to hold your husband accountable subsequently in order to be able to rebuild trust. And what accountability means to different people vary. So what accountability means to you, you might want to state it to him. So if he's really remorseful, he will be willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild the trust. Accountability might mean cloning your phones, so that you know where he is, what he's doing and everything. It might mean you have all the passwords to all his gadgets so that you can pick it at any time and check what he's doing and everything. If he's really remorseful, he will be willing to do whatever it takes for reconciliation to happen. And if you feel that the lie is too weighty and you cannot cope, you have a right to decide whatever you want to do. However, whatever you want to do also has its consequences. Because if you decide that, oh, because of what he did, I don't want the marriage again, I'm walking out of the marriage, you are already 8 months pregnant. By the time you give birth to that child, you too will be a single mom. And when you get married in the future, if you choose to give love another chance, you too will be bringing a child into your new home. So whatever decision you are making, you have to count the cost on both sides and know what works for you. But if you choose to give him a second chance, put structures in place that will rebuild the foundation of trust that has been shattered. I hope I answered your question. If there's anyone out there that is grappling with any form of challenge along the line of relationship or marriage, feel free to reach out to me. Send your question in to askdrshion@gmail.com and I will be glad to attend to you. Thank you.